Hello, and welcome along to the stream tonight. So Friday's stream obviously didn't happen. I had a prior engagement that meant I wasn't able to do the stream on Friday. But over the course of the week and over the weekend, I basically got to a point where the functionality that I've been working on, which is to take GitReleaseManager and decouple it from GitHub, I got to a point where that was pretty much working. And I updated a pull request that I have here. So I've got a work in progress pull request here, which basically, hello, Kim. Welcome along. So I got the PR to a point where it was functional. Let's put it that way, right? It at least creates the PR. It creates the release. So what I've done is I've basically taken the GitReleaseManager code and ripped it apart and stuck it all back together in a way that means it's no longer directly coupled to GitHub. The idea being that we can then add in GitLab or some other version control system provider and make it so that we can create releases on another platform. So I put that up, and over the weekend, Kim, as he mentions in the chat room there, was able to take a look at it. So he's provided some feedback. So the aim of tonight is to work through the feedback and get that checked in. And I'm at a point where I kind of want to just YOLO it. I want to put it in. And the reason I say that is normally I don't do things like that. But in this scenario, the reason that I want to do that is for a couple of things, right? So if we go back over here and look at the issues, then one of the issues here is to one of the issues that we created was to add integration tests. So the thought process here is to add some integration tests into the Cake build script so that we can exercise GitReleaseManager every time we make a commit, right? In order for those two things to happen, or in order for that thing to happen, which is to add integration tests, we need to do this one, which is to add support for discarding a draft. So if we go over here, and have a look at /fake repository here. Then this is a repository that I have on GitHub that basically I use for creating a release and then immediately discarding it. Creating a release immediately. So basically test that GitReleaseManager is working, right? And I do this manually. So if we can get to a point where we have support for discarding a draft release, then we can quite quickly add in the integration tests. So then we can quite quickly, as part of the commit into the repository, exercise those integration tests to make sure that everything's working. So when I say I'm going to YOLO it, what I mean is let's implement the suggestions that Kim has in the PR review, which are all valid. YOLO that PR in, add the support for discarding of the draft release, and then work on the integration test. And obviously make sure that all the integration tests are passing. Then once we're all happy with that, then we can start looking at this thing, which is to allow management of releases from GitLab. But all of that will be done with the backing of the integration test that we've just implemented. So that's kind of my thought process for all of this, right? So on tonight's stream, the aim for tonight is to review the PR, or review the review that Kim provided on the PR, get those changes in, get it merged, and then start working on the next part. I've just got a notification to say that Matthias has subscribed at Tier 1, and they've subscribed for 8 months. Thank you very much, Matthias. Appreciate it. And Matthias has just shared rewards to 5 others in the chat. Thank you very much, Matthias. So Kim has been a recipient of that initially. Thank you very much. how are you, Matthias? We need to chat up. We need to catch up at some point, Matthias, because we haven't spoken in a while. I know that you have been busy with lots of stuff, but it would be good to have a catch up at some point and to see where everybody's at. But I noticed something over here that was going to annoy me, so that needs to be a capital H. I need to change that. I also need to change the wording once we pull in this PR, because it will no longer be just GitHub. But anyway, let's have a look at the PR review that Kim put in. So I'm going to start at the bottom, because some of the ones at the bottom are easier. So I had made a change to the insanely busy. So I hope things are calming down. Coming up to Christmas, obviously. Oh, hold on. Where are they? They're here. Look at this. I haven't played with them yet, but I have my keys. I haven't done anything with them yet. I have my YubiKeys. Haven't set them up yet. But I now have YubiKeys, which means I should no longer have to type in two-factor authentication codes into certain services that I use. So I've tested at least one of them to make sure it works, and it does. But I haven't. I've only set up one service just to prove out that it works. But I haven't. So maybe I'll start here, right? So this is a YubiKey, and this is a YubiKey, but I thought I would have then two YubiKeys so that if I lost one, I would still have this one, or vice versa. But you can't sync them. There's no way that I found that you can sync them together. So I'm slightly confused as to the backup strategy with these things. I'm not clear on what I do with them in that scenario. Now, I know in some services you can add multiple YubiKeys, so if one goes away and the other one you still got the other one, then you can still use the service. But the service that I tested this on only allows for one key, not multiple keys. So in that scenario, that service is only usable on this one and not on this one. So I'm slightly confused. I went looking, Kim, and I didn't. The initial Google hits that I got suggested that the keys they're distinct and you can't put them together. So I need to play with it a little bit. But I have them now. I've bought them. I got them on a Black Friday discount, and I also had a discount from MS Ignite, so I got quite a good deal on them. I just need to play with them now. But anyway, right. So the feedback that Kim provided here is I removed the kind of hosted on GitHub because we're moving away from just being on GitHub. And I liked Kim's suggestion, which was to say hosted on a remote provider or something like that. So yeah, I think that makes sense. So that was in the tool.cs proj. So this one will be easier to edit in code. So let's go and have a look at code. And what were we looking for? We were looking for, let's just use some text, tool for creating and exporting releases. Let's see what that comes up with. All of that, and then Control A, paste. What are you doing? Doesn't like me pushing up. Let's try this again. There we go. Because what I changed it to was a tool for creating and exporting releases for software applications. For tool for creating and exporting releases for software applications. And it was the description that we changed, wasn't it? It was. So, software applications from online. I'm going to stick with the version control system. That's what I'm using in the code. I went for VCS as kind of the acronym, so I'm going to stick with from Online Version Control System. I'm going to go with that. So the description here is going to be this one from Online Version Control Systems, and that one seems to have a full stop on it, whereas the other one didn't. So let's take that out and save that. Okay. Matthias is saying usually they've got another 2FA option. So yes, that I can't fault them with that. So this particular online service had mobile phone, it had authentication app, it had security key. It just, and I could fall back from one to the other. Absolutely, I could do that. I just felt like I wanted to be able to have both keys work for each service. Now I know that for likes of GitHub, I can do that. I can have both keys registered, so I can use one or I can use the other. I just wanted them all to be on both keys, just for redundancy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about it wrong. Anyway, so that was that one. That was that one. That was that one. So we've kind of figured those ones. I did not know that you could do this, Kim. So this was with regard to the way I was setting up AutoMapper. So as part of the PR, we are using AutoMapper to map between what is a GitHub issue and what is our internal representation of an issue, and same for milestone, release, and label. Now, what I was doing, let's do this one in Visual Studio. So let's have a look here for AutoMapper configuration. Did I spell that right? No, I didn't. I'm going to put this down here because normally I look for it in the bottom right hand corner. Configuration. Now, the way I'd done that. Oh, we'll come back to that in a second. So the way I'd done this before was I had model.issue maps to octokit.issue, and then I had octokit.issue mapping to here. But Kim's saying that we can then do reverse map, which basically says map model.issue to octokit.issue, and then do a reverse map of octokit.issue. That makes perfect sense to me. But then you saying, Kim, you also have auto mapping through attributes as well. Auto mapping through attributes as well. Oh, you're talking about on the actual model classes. So we could go to, not the CLI, that would be in core. You're talking about in here adding an attribute on the class itself. I'm not a big fan of that, if I'm honest. I kind of prefer to see it in a class like this, the way that I've got it here. So I'm going to stick with this, I think. So do a reverse map, and then the one that we couldn't do a reverse map on was the milestone, because the milestone has an additional aftermap method that's required when going one way but the other. So the reverse map can't work here. So I learned something new. I did not know about this reverse map, so that was good to know. Here is a link for that reference. Well, let's have a look. So let's bring up the link that Kim's put in the chat room there. So attribute mapping, auto map type of order. So yes, so it's not that it's, for me, that would mean I would have to have multiple classes open to then see what each one mapped to. So if I was wanting to fault find through something, I'd rather want to see all the mappings in one place, like what we've got here, I think. So I like that there's an option to do it this way. And it is a simple one-liner to find all the attributes using the add maps method. I don't have a problem with that, but yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one. Good to know that it's there though. Now, the other thing in this area was, we'll come back to that one. Yes, this here. I think this makes sense as well. So, right now, what I have, or what I had, is a single configure method. And that configure method would have all of the mappings for GitHub, because that's all we have just now. But as we add in another version control system, i.e. GitLab, that would be extended, and we would have another set of all within the same class. So Kim correctly pointed out that we should not do that, and rather have a profile class. So we should absolutely do that. A better approach would be to extract these to profile classes instead, like GitHub profile, GitLab profile, etc. So I absolutely think that this is a good idea. So let's just remind myself about how this works, because I have done it this way in the past on another project. I just need to remember how it works. So we have a class that inherits from profile, and then we do all the mappings in there. Okay. So let's have a close. Multiplier provider support. Multiplier provider support is nice. So I had the automapper configuration here. This feels more like I want a new folder here. So we can say automapper. And then in here, I'm going to put a new class that is GitLab. Well, let's start with GitHub, because it's the only one we've got. Let's start with GitHub profile. Or mapping profiles. I have no objection to that. Well, automapper is indeed quite specific. So if we did change that, I see where we're going. So let's go mapping profiles. We'll change this to mapping profiles. So this is going to be a public. I'm going to inherit from profile, which is going to come from automapper. Beautiful. Okay. And then in here, I think I just have a constructor. And then in here, we're going to have create maps. Yes, we are. So if we put this over here, and we go back to here, then if we borrow this just now, copy that, and put this into here, and then we lose CFG to the... Yep, okay. So that gives me a profile. Then we need to call add profile. Profiles can be added to the main mapper configuration in a number of ways, either directly, add profile, or by automatically scanning for profiles. Let's see where we're at. So I was calling, where was I calling automapper configure from? I was calling this from the test project and from this one. Excuse me. So we do add maps of my assembly being the current assembly. So we could do it that way. So if we were to do this and do this, and we would have that. Obviously, we need to change that. We could just do automatic configuration at this point, I think. So if we get rid of these, why are you complete? Oh, I've missed one of these. Let's see if we can do this. What do we think? Will that work? It's a little bit of overkill because we've only got one, but it allows us to leave it option for expansion. So I don't dislike that. And we're still calling configure. So in theory, this should work, he says. Yeah. I think that should work. Just try to think how we can verify that quite quickly. We need to execute the actual GitReleaseManager, so we'll come back to that. We'll finish having a quick look through the PI review. So that leaves us open to do a GitLab profile when we switch to that. So that's good. Performance hit for automatic scanning, which shouldn't be noticeable. Yeah, not too bad, I don't think. This one I wanted to have a chat about while you're on the stream. So, .NET style qualification for property. Currently, we're saying it's false and silent, but you made a suggestion that it should be suggestion, warning, or error. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we want this to be an error, because I want it to not be there. So I'm going to say that to that one. Style cop, as I mentioned, we seem to have lost style cop from the project. So I absolutely think we need to add that back in again. So I created that issue. If you wanted to take a stab at that, I would be happy to let you do that. I mean, it's something I want to add back in, but if you're happy to do that, that would be good. So this one here, this is for language version. Project should also set the language version to be used in the project. So I don't think we specify that at all just now. He said probably, yes, I agree. So there are some defaults though. The latest C# compiler determines the default language based on your project's target framework or frameworks. This is because the C# language may have features that relies on types or runtime components that are not available in every .NET implementation. So currently, we are targeting from dev machine. Yes, absolutely. So if we take a look at one of our CS project files, so let's take the entry one. Then this one, depending on install Visual Studio or .NET Core. Yes, absolutely. So lang version. So you must specify C# explicitly. If you must, you can do so in several ways. Manually edit your project file, set the language version for multiple projects in a subdirectory, or configure the language version compiler option. Only syntax that is included in So what one do we want then? Because we are currently supporting back to net 461. So net 461 is supported back on, that's where I was going, Matthias, yes. But if we were to support 8, we would have to bump from 461. Now we've already bumped from 451 to 461 to support AutoMapper. So I think in this next release, in theory, we could bump it again, he says. But that would mean bumping this quite a bit. Net version. No, I understand that. Well, oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry. I get myself confused. I see what you're saying. So it would be it's what we build it with. So as long as we build it on Netcore 3, it would work. So we need to build it with Netcore 3, even though it's, I see what you're getting at. So we're putting an 8 in here then? Are we putting 8.0 is only supported in .NET Core. But we're currently build so let me make sure I've got this right in my head. So we currently build GitReleaseManager with .NET Core. So am I right in saying then, hold on, as long as avoiding async enumerator and possibly null reference type, there shouldn't be much difference. So let me go back to Matthias' comment where it says 8.0 is only supported in .NET Core. Which, right, but again, as long as I'm building with .NET Core, I can support 8, but still compile to net 461, correct? So can I do that, is what I'm getting at. And is it 8.0 that I have to put in here, or is it V 8.1 or something else? Is this what I'm putting in? 8.0. What does VAD mean, Matthias? Sorry, is that a typo? 8.0 VAD Netcore 3 runtime dependencies. Oh, I see. Has is not equal to. I think I see what you're saying. So 8.0 has .NET Core 3 runtime dependencies. Okay. Only for a couple of specific uses. So won't work for X. Meaning, okay, I see what you're saying. So as long as but Kim's saying, as long as we don't attempt to do non-null reference types, which I haven't got my head around yet, so I'm not thinking about going to that yet. And as long as we avoid using the async enumerator, we should be fine. Okay, let's put it in, right? Let's put it in. Let's give it a try. We can but try. But that's unsupported still. Fine. You're right. So there's the tool, CLI, and then the other projects are the core project, which is here. Okay. Beautiful. And the test project. Do we need to do it in the test project? I guess we should. Tests. There we go. Okay. So that was that. That was the style cop, which you said you were going to do, which was fine. We changed that one. We've changed that to include the profiles. Should this be logged somewhere? Probably. Let's have a look. See what we're doing here. What were we doing? But that means need a compiler we can handle. Okay. Stevie has just joined the stream. Hello, Stevie. How's it going? The comment that Kim made here is, should this be logged somewhere? It probably should. We don't actually have a logger. Or do we? We do have a logger, but it's not available across everything. So the logger that we have, if I recall, it's a very naive implementation of a logger. So let me remind myself about what we've got. We've got a very basic logger that just appends lines. We don't have Serilog or Log4net or anything else like that. So what we do is we do a new list of slog. How does this actually work again? Right log entry. Is that coming from there? And then, oh, what was this again? Logger.writeInfo. So we have a static class called logger. Where is that referenced? Oh, it's a static class. So in theory we could logger.writeError into there. Is this where one finds the DevOps? Yes, is the answer. Absolutely. So where is logger? Where's logger defined? Is that in core? Logger is defined in core. If you transfer a 6-figure sum of money into my bank account, I will show you where the DevOps is. You can pick the figure as long as it has 6 of them. And those 6 figures can't all be 0. What was I thinking about there? I was thinking about how to do this. So in theory, this is in the GitHub provider. The GitHub provider is in there. So we should be able to do logger.writeWarning. So what's actually happening when this occurs? When this occurs, there is no tag yet. Unable to find tag for if there is not if there is no tag yet, the compare, I'm going to change that. If there is no tag yet, unable to find tag for milestone. This won't have a. No, it doesn't. So that to me is a string dot format. Dun, dun, dun. No, it's for the. So the way that this works is, no, it's for the current one. So this compare is against the current. I had this in my head just the other day because I fixed a bug in this area. Ahead by, or we're here. So if the previous milestone is null, then we go from master to the current milestone. Whereas if the previous milestone is not null, we go from that previous milestone to the current head of the master branch. So it could be for either or, yes. Unable to find tag for milestone, but then I can't do a. Unable to find tag. By the way, you can. So I was literally speaking to someone about this the other day. I think I'm showing my age and my unwillingness to change to using interpolated strings. I personally find string.format easier to read. Don't at me. I genuinely find string.format easier. So I've consciously not made the switch to I've consciously not made the switch to interpolated strings. There's something about string.format, and for me it's easier to read. So don't hate the player, hate the game. What was I doing? Unable to find tag for milestone. So no commits will be so commit. So let's just do so commit. So commit count will be returned as 0. String concat, string concat even? Yeah, that's true. So I don't need the format now because I'm not going to include the milestone, so we can actually remove that. Boom. Okay. I need to fix my trial license of Visual Studio. We'll get to that. So I'm going to write a warning. So we did that. So over here, we should be logging that. We did that. Mapper configuration, we did that. And we did that. So all of these things being equal and the build compiling, so as I said, I'm going to YOLO it and I'm going to put it in. And I'm going to work on the discard method next, which will allow us to add the integration test, will allow us to make sure that everything works. That's the current plan of attack. So let's see if this build succeeds. And if it does, I'm going to go for it. What do we think? Is it going to work? Dun, dun, dun. And then I'm going to while that's building, I'm going to go off screen. I'm going to go off stream just a second to remind myself about what environment variables I added into my system and whether or not the environment variables I need are there. And if it is, we'll do one test, which is to create a release notes on the fake repository. And if that works, we'll check it in. So I'm going to go, I'll be right back. Hello again. Okay, so the environment variables are there, which means we should be able to run a test. So the test that we're going to run is on this fake repository. And if this fake repository, if we instruct GitReleaseManager to create a release for the V012 release, it should generate a set of release notes and it should all work. So let's let this finish. That is some warnings that we should probably fix. Otherwise, Kim will get annoyed. Using directive is not required in program.cs. So what do we change in program.cs? That means it's no longer required. Octokit. But that makes sense because we've removed all of that into the mapping profiles. So is that the only one? What other warnings were on here? Oh, that's 23 and 23. I agree. We can get rid of that. Okay, so if we go into our, what's it called? Build artifacts folder, temp, published applications, and let's see what's in here. And we'll go into the CLI. So here we'll have a net461. Yes, absolutely right, Kim. So the reason it was showing twice is because it was one for Full Fat Framework and one for .NET Core. It's the same one, the error messages, they get duplicated as well, which is unfortunate. So here we should be able to run GitReleaseManager.exe, and it should show that. And if we then run the create, if I spell it right, then we can try creating a release. Just like Santa checks this list twice. Love it. So what we want to do is we want to create a milestone with V01.2. We want to use the username, which is going to be an environment variable called GitTools GitHub username -p, which is going to be env GitTools GitHub password, I think. Then we want a owner, which is get13, and we want a repository, which is the fake repository. Fake repository. Oh, look at that. See, look at this. Look at that, Kim. Love it. And it has output that, indicating that it has done its thing. So if we go over here and do a refresh, then we have a new V012 release created as a draft. We have, as part of this release, we had 8 commits, which resulted in one issue being closed, which is this issue here. Now Kim's saying resize the terminal. Oh, hold on then. Let's edit this and discard it. So, you meaning, do I actually have to resize it? resize it, or just can I do this? Will it work when I do that? Let's try running it again. Oh, look at that. Look at it. It switched. Look at it. Love it. Love it. Loving your work, Kim. Loving it. So that's the best feature of the next release of GitReleaseManager. And in theory, if I do --no--logo, that'll probably fail because the release is already there. No, it'll create a new one, won't it? Oh, what happened there? Oh, it did. Yeah, I couldn't see it there for looking. Something for cake recipe art. Something? Same thing? Some? I'm going to come back to you on that once you maybe write it again. So I'm going to go ahead and discard that one again. And I'm going to discard that one. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, yes, that could well be. Yes. Would we have that information in a script? Maybes. Yeah, that's the thought process that was going through my head too. Whether the script would have access to that information. But definitely useful if we could. We should add that to the cake.recipe backlog, which we will get back to once I've got GitReleaseManager to a point where I'm happy with it. So, anyway, I'm gonna check this in and merge it. I was more on the lines of not sure if we should. So, the reason that I think it would be a good idea, well, so there's two parts of it, right? The way GitReleaseManager works, the way cake.recipe works is by default it will output the title of the repository configuration. Now, sometimes there is a disconnect between, or rather, the title is too big for what it wants to be output. Now, what I should do in that scenario is then override the title that goes into what is outputted by cake.figlet to something shorter. But I don't think you can do that currently. I don't think there's a mechanism to. I'll have to look back on that, because there are definitely some builds where I have the title is too long and the cake.figlet just gets all messed up. That's not cake.figlet's fault. That's just that there's not enough space in the console to handle it. Right. Anyway, let's go back to this, and I'm going to say that. So I'm going to quote GH-145 PR changes from PR review, implementing the changes suggested by let me get this right. Add right one. And I think, did I do it? If I didn't, I meant to. I think I did, though. I didn't. I'm sure I did. Oh, it's here. I found it. Don't worry. Copy. I knew I put it somewhere. Haha, look at that. Let me just paste it in now. So co-author by Kim. Boom. Okay. And if we do this, and we do a git push origin. Beautiful. Okay. Oh. I like it. I really do need that as a VS Code extension. Can a VS Code extension get access to this box? Must be able to. It must be able to. Give me an idea now, Kim. How would that work, though? Oh, you don't think it does? Ah, surely. You must be able to get access to that box. Slightly more complicated than that, because you would need to go and get the... You'd maybe want to enter the username and then go and look up their actual name from the GitHub API. So there's a little bit of thought to go into that, but that's a very good... Let's just check. Hold on. Co-authored. Let's see if there's not one already. Co-authored. Code runner, Chinese. Oh, what's this? Easily adds co-authored by strings to your commit message. Oh, look at this. Oh, what's this? Just select change pairing buddies and a list of the repo contributors will show up. Oh, look at this. You can add remove them from here whenever you are ready to write a commit. Oh, hold on. I'm going to have to go and install this. There's at least a couple of them. What's this one? Git mob co-authors provides a UI for the command line application. Git mob. Oh, I'm not using that. I'm going to install this guy. Hold on. Let's see what this does. It's there. Okay. So I'm going to my commit message, which is here, and he wanted me to do what now? Add. Oh, I saw it. Co-author? No. I saw it. Add co-author strings, change pairing buddies. What does that do? Oh, look at that. So I'm going to pick Kim, right? I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to do co-author, add co-author strings. That's genius. That's genius. Co-authored by Admiring Worm. I see, it's got your actual email address, though. I kind of... I kind of don't put that in by default, because then you're kind of advertising your email address. Now, I know you can get it off of GitHub by other mechanisms. I just feel that it's... And I just wonder whether it can put in the anonymous one instead. But that's genius. This was a squirrel moment if ever there was one. Co-author. Change remote. You see, there's nothing else. There's no other settings, which is unfortunate. But the fact that it tells me the format is the main thing. Hard to know GitHub username from email, though. True. I guess I prefer putting in the anonymous one, because then there's no... what I'm getting at is I then haven't leaked the email address, if you see what I mean. Other people would have to then know how to go and find it. But I need to go in. I'm going to go and have to star this repository, because that's genius. What? I want to be signed in. Check this over here then. No. I'll put it down in here. I see Joel's in the chat room as well. Hello, Joel. I've been sidetracked slightly into having a look at additional GitHub extensions, VS Code extensions. So I'm going to sign in over here. It's as deep as the ocean, indeed it is. But it's an amazing extension that I just found. I'm totally going to have to use it from now on. Let me just get an authenticator code that I can type in over here. Again, because I haven't set up my YubiKey yet. If it was a stream without Gary getting sidetracked, then it isn't a Gary stream. Squirrel. Get it. Let's see what this guy's got. Any open issues? Clear pairing. Optional toggle to pre-populate. Oh, what's this? There's an optional toggle to pre-populate message with co-author's message via Git pre-hook. I think adding this feature would make the workflow easier as you wouldn't have to type an extra command. Yeah, I don't need that. But anyway, genius. Love it. So I added Kim as a co-author, which was the whole point and why I got sidetracked. But that's good. Did I push this? Did I push it? I meant to push it. Did I push it? Git push origin. I think I did. I think I did. I did. So if we go over here and have a look at the CI build now for GitReleaseManager. I'll have to get signed in. Fine. Okay. I'll sign in here as well. Oh, it reminded me. PR review, co-author by Kim. Right, fine. That CI passed. I'm going to go and mark this as no longer being a work in progress. I'm going to say that, let's go through some of these. So we did, done. Comment. Has it not? Oh, you're right. Maybe needs to be. Maybe we need another VS Code extension. No, I can't. I can't create another one. That would just be no. I have enough VS Code extensions that I am duly ignoring. I'm going to say, did not know about this feature. Thanks for sharing, because that was great. I think that's how. Didn't know about it. What was this one? I agree. Done. Comment. Resolve. I have done this previously on another project, but forgot about it. Thanks for the prod. Comment and resolve. Done. My watch is currently going nuts with notifications for each of these things that I'm doing. So that one we added an issue for, so we're happy with that. Okay, I'm going to say merge it. Why did that? Oh, did I not? What? Oh, hold on. What happened there? Right, fair. So we've resolved all of those. I'm going to say that I'm going to merge it. Right? Why is that saying that? Oh, that was the name of the PR, wasn't it? That's probably. Refactor code away from direct coupling to GitHub. Let's go ahead and copy that, save that, and let's just change this a little bit. Go. Do it. Okay. And beautiful. Did that delete the branch as well? It did. Even better. Okay, I could have done that. I see. Okay, so with that pull request done, and that issue closed, I'm guessing it closed it as well. No, it didn't. 1, 4, 5. Right. Refactor project to allow management. So we've done that. Close. Okay, so the one that I want to look into now. Did you use Grunt or Gulp? I'm showing my age. Yo, what now? Is that a typo, or is that some other random thing that I haven't yet found out about? GIP? GIP? It's like the GIF and GIF all over again. Okay, so where we're going next is we are going to look at the discard method that we need. So it is support for discarding a draft. We want to be able, with GitReleaseManager, we want to be able to create a release and then we want to throw it away. Now, that's not something that you typically do as part of your workflow when using GitReleaseManager, but it will allow us to add integration tests that allow us to do better testing. So this is 139. So I'm going to go here, git switch to develop, git fetch upstream, git rebase upstream develop, git push origin, and we should be all synced up. And let's go up a couple of levels because there we go. And we'll do a git switch -c feature gh hyphen, I've already forgotten the number, 139 from develop branch, and we're there. Okay, so we want a new method called discard, a new command, sorry. So if we have a look, let's go to it in Visual Studio. So in here we have, now there's a question there. So currently we have a create sub options that, so when we discard something, what are we going to need? Add a typo. Oh, hold on. I just saw a message from Kim. should be issue template instead of issue templates. Issue templates. Can't type. Oh, it's a directory name, sorry. Where are we at? That'll be in the .github folder. This one here should be an issue template. Rename that one. That better? Okay, cool. Doc update folder name. Issue templates to issued. Oh, I'm on a branch, but that's fine. That'll go in with the next one. Spelling doc. No, see. That's the. No. No. I haven't gotten into the habit of doing that either. I noticed that you were doing that on your GitLab PR recently, or your branch recently. I haven't done that yet. I maybe should. Oh, it's nothing to be sorry about. I like it in the sense that it's easy to identify what you're talking about, but it's not one that I've gotten into the habit of doing yet. Maybe it's one day. Maybe it's PS Code. So if we were to go over to PS Code, we would see everything, would we? So look. PS Codes. Oh, look at that, you see? So look. So see, I think I would still want the parentheses. I'd still want the parentheses around it, I think. And then documentation. So what's this? Is this a feature? Is that a build? Or what's that? Fix CI tooling? You sent me a link here. Just have a look at it. CI stuff is rocket. Love it. An emoji guide for your commit messages. Fire. Improving performance. Improving structure. An ambulance. Critical fix. Introducing new features. Initial commit. Ta-da. Love it. Lipstick. Yeah, I've seen that one being used. There's lots. Push pin. Pinning dependencies. Something for everything. The end of your commit summary. See, the reason there's no cake. There's no cake. So, I mean, the way, what I tend to do, and this is very much driven from Chocolatey, and where I learn it from, is that everything is linked to every commit is linked to an issue. So I always do in parentheses the issue number, because then from any commit message you can get to the issue associated with it. So in this scenario, there's a lot of commits going into that one, but it's twofold. One, from the commit, from an individual commit, you can get to the issue that's associated with it. But then on the flip side of that, from any issue, you can get to every commit that's associated with that. So it gives it's closing of the loop. So that's what Kim's getting at. If I were to implement the nomenclature for the icons or the Git emoji, whatever they're called, then it would be that, blah, 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 and then the function of it at the end of it. cake is a lie, indeed. Does GitHub... okay, hold on. So, Joel, no real reason other than for the longest time I don't think the pound sign or the hash sign was supported in GitHub, and I've got it under my fingers now, so it's always GH. And Mateus is saying pound is a comment and a commit message, so not epic to start with. Gotcha. Also, hey Devlead, Baron of Cheese. Hello to you, sir. How are you today? But the reason to do so GitHub does now support that, and what I was saying there was, so if we go into an issue, and let's just go into this one, then we come in here, and then we can say pound sign or hash sign number, but also GH continues to work as well. The reason to do that is that seems to be cross-provider compatible. So the pound sign in GitHub also maps to the pound sign in GitLab. So if you were to move repositories backwards and forwards, then references to issues in theory should be respected rather than doing GL-whatever or GH-whatever. So I probably should get into the habit of using the pound sign. I probably should. But it also means my commit history all looks wrong then. And I'm not sure my OCD would handle it. I'd have to think about that one heavily before jumping into that ship. But I think I could be convinced about that one. Major life decisions. If these are the only problems I have, then I think I'm doing okay. But yeah, where was I? Yes, so I need a new discard options here. I should ask Cheese Baron, have you signed up for Summit this year? Are you all booked in? But how do you know which provider though? Sweet. Because I'm signed up as well. And I know Mateus is, so it'll be good to catch up again while we're there. Yes. Sorry, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't see the question from Joel. I was referring to the MVP Summit. As opposed to the PowerShell Summit, which I'm not down as going to the PowerShell Summit this year, or next year I should say, but I am down to go to the MVP Summit. I haven't really discussed that one with work yet about whether I'm needed to go to the PowerShell Summit or not yet. Anyway, so discard options. I'm going to create a new one in here. And let's put this down at the bottom to start doing stuff. Okay, so we're going to go public class discard options. That's going to derive from probably the same one as this one, because we are going to need, in order to discard something, we're going to need the rights to do it. So we'll create a verb here that is discard, and let's keep the help text. Let's put this back in here. Let's actually put it on the bottom, which is where I intended to put it. Horizontal. There we go. So let's make the help text consistent. Why is that not? Help text equals discards draft release discards or draft. Well, that's pretty much it. I see what you're saying there, Joel. So the main caveat there is how many other events am I going to through the year, and whether I can convince my better half that I need to attend something as opposed to just wanting to attend something. It's a subtle distinction, but it's an important one. I realize I didn't name that properly, so I'm going to say discard sub options here. Now, for consistency, I think we should put this in here. So, when we're discarding, we don't need to know about assets, we don't need to know about a target commit-ish, we don't need a milestone. We will need that, I think. So we'll need that one. But now, the change that Geert made means that no. So it is just a milestone. No, that's fine. And it's a pre-release. Okay, so I think that's all we need. And then in the base VCS settings, we'll have the username, the password, the owner, repository, and all that sort of stuff. In which case, I think that's all we need. So let's do this. Get rid of you. And let's just stick it in the middle here. So we're going to say discard sub options as options. We can map that to discard release. Typing command need to. Discard release async. Pass in the options. And then we're going to do the horrendous thing, which is just call this a result on it. That's a different refactoring to fix all of that stuff. So let's just inject it in here. So private static async task of int. Then we're going to pass in the discard sub options, and they're going to be the sub options. And then what we're going to need to do is something very similar to what's in here. So let's just put this in. Console dot writeLine ex, and then return 1. So that's the failure case. Don't throw, but we'll return a 1. Happy path is return 0. We won't have an HTML URL to return, so we won't need that. But what we will need to do are these things. And so let's do this. We configure logging. Then we're going to get the VCS provider. And then I think what we're just going to do is a first pass is we're going to do VCS provider, and we're going to say discard release. Discard release. It's not going to be there, but we're going to create it in a second. And we're going to pass in the sub options there. They're a little bit more explicit when it comes to doing those things. So let's copy these things. So we're not passing in sub options. Oh, that's not what we want to do. So here we want to do that. Okay, so that's not going to have that because the VCS provider doesn't have that on it yet. But if we go over here and we say, let's put it in here beside this. that is going to be an int, and we're going to say discard release. It's going to be similar to what we have here, so this is going to be string owner, string repository, and then string name, and then put that one there. Okay, good. And then if we go to the implementation of this thing, here, then it's going to complain that it doesn't have one, or it should be complaining. It does. So let's put it inside here. So public async task of int discard release. Is that what I called it? Oh, I've got a typo. So discard release string owner string repository string name. Let's borrow that and go to the other implementation, which is the fake GitHub client. And for now, we will throw new not implemented exception. What is that? Not beautiful. Okay. So yeah, I don't ever do that. That's just for me to have something there. So now what we need to do is I need to figure out whether the GitHub API supports discarding a release. I'm sure that it must. Repository dot release dot create. Oh, delete. What does it need? It needs the repository ID and the deletes an existing OctoKit release for the specified repository. Okay. So publish release. I think what I want is, what does this do? This this is already doing what I want, I think. So we already have this method that is get specific release, so we could reuse that, which gets me a not quite, because that's getting me a model, which is not really what I want. How are we going to do that part? GitHub client dot repository dot release. Let's see how else we do it. Kim's just created an issue on GitReleaseManager repository. I should probably go and see what he's doing over there. Okay. So in order to discard it, I need to first find it. So we could say that var release is equal to owner. Whoa. Owner repository. Just an issue for deprecating authentication with password. Interesting. I did not know I didn't realize that that had been deprecated. Release.id. What did this want? This wanted the... Oh, there was an overload, so hold on. Let's see what the overloads were. Owner, name, and ID. So we should then be able to do owner. What's the name in the repository's name? So owner, repository, release.id. That's true. That's true. So if we get here, return 0. Here. No, that's not quite right, is it? Is that here that I'm doing this? Yeah. So this is not going to be a int, it's just going to be a task. I think. What do we do here? We just don't do anything, right? It's just a return. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. And let's change this to be just a task. And then I'll need to change that in my fake GitHub client as well. Okay. Does that build? Does it? Build? Ooh, build succeeded. Okay, let's have a think. Right. So, why are you complaining? Because it needs to be in a wait. So that needs to be in a wait. So back to the start. We've created a new space there. We created a new mapping for the arguments into the discard sub-options. If it is able to if it is able to parse a discard command from the input set of credentials, it should map to here. That then creates a new instance of the VCS provider, and it'll call the discard release. And the discard release in this case doesn't go there, it goes to this one. It'll find the release by the tag name that was passed in. If it finds it, it will then delete it. And if all of that works, then the program will return. Let's just see if it works, shall we? Source, GitReleaseManager, CLI, bin, debug, net461. And then what have we got in here? This will have a GitReleaseManager.exe, won't it? Okay. So first of all, this should give us a new... That didn't give us a discard. What generates the help message? I thought we got that for free just by adding a verb. I thought we built it. I thought we got the help for free. I'm in the right folder. Will I? 1:30. I'm in the wrong time zone in this VM, but it's all good. Discard is not recognized. What am I forgetting? I am forgetting something. I don't know what it is. Oh, I know what it is. Up here. We need to add it to the top list here. Try that again. So the other thing that's on the list is to move away from using this command line parser and instead use Spectre CLI. But again, that's a job for a different day. But for now we get a discard draft release. And if we run this, we should do that. And then if we go back up to where we did something before, which was in here, do we still have it? Of course, I closed it. So if I go github.com/get13/fake repository releases, then we will have to create it again. So let's do that to create it. Boom. So we come in here, we do a refresh, and we have that. So then, if we come in here and change this to discard without the additional key presses that comes from Synergy, what does that do? It didn't error, so that must mean it would have worked, obviously. So if we refresh this, okay, that went a little bit too smoothly. Wasn't necessarily expecting that to work the first time, I'll be honest. Let's put it back again. I think we should ship it. But the danger, there is a danger here. There is a danger, he says. I don't necessarily want the discard to delete one that is published. I think that's the caveat. So the test here would be whether that one would get deleted. If I went and deleted v1.1, v0.11, I think the code just now would nuke it from orbit, which I don't necessarily want it to do. But what happens if I try and do one that doesn't exist? And we say discard. Then that should fail. Object reference not set to an instance object. That needs to be not that error. But we also want it to be a little bit smarter. So let's go and have a look in our here. Now we'll say here. What can we have on the release? Release.published. Is it a state? Release dot upload. There is a published at. That can be a nullable. Draft. Ooh, is that a boolean? Ooh. So I think it's draft that I want. Yeah. So we say if not a draft, then we do something. And we simply return. Maybe. Logger dot warning. Right. Warning. Release is not in draft state. So not discard. That's terrible English, but that'll do for now. So if we're not a draft release, then do that. Otherwise, we can go ahead and delete it, right? But we can also say, let's do another check. If release equals null, logger dot write error, unable to find a release with name 0. Here's going to hate string.format, and this is going to be name. Then that's going to be a return. I can't do it. In which case, then let's just do throw new exception, and then it'll be caught and returned with a 0. Since we can't do anything about it, throw new exception. We should probably have a GitReleaseManager exception, but for now, let's just do this. And let's get rid of that. Okay, so if the release can't be found, throw an error. If the release is a draft, not a draft, then we throw an error. If it's either of those things, it'll go ahead and delete it. Let's build that again. Let's see what it looks like. So you would still like to see the right error? Is that what you're saying? But we would still want it to return a non, or would we still want the exit code to be 0 if it wasn't able to find it though? That's not right, is it? CLS. So where are we at? Do we still have the draft? We still have the draft. Right. So it shouldn't, hold on. No, it shouldn't definitely not be 0. There's a lot of double negatives in there. Should definitely not be 0. Okay, good. So we're agreed on that one. Okay. So let's do a discard of 013. So it shouldn't find it. Unable to find the release with name 010. But you would say you don't want the stack trace. So if we do last exit code is 1. So what would you prefer to see here? Don't throw the exception? Or okay. I mean, we could return an int from this and then pass that directly to the client, and that would be the exit code. which would mean that any exceptions. So okay, so let's do it this way then. So let's go back to this. I've got 20 minutes before I need to go back inside. So let's go back and change this to be int then. And then put this back to be a task event. And in here, let's make this again a task event. So logger.write error. Let's put this back on there and we return a 1. And then in here, do a logger.write error. And return a 1. Otherwise, return a 0. And then in program.cs, we would var result is equal to that, and in here we'll return result. See what that does. Let's see. Can't have it. I'll see how it looks, and then because that's kind of why I didn't do it the first time round. But okay, let's do this. Unable to find the release with that, and then last exit code is 1. So if we don't return the exit code directly, then what we need to handle is we need to have a result object, which kind of balloons up what we're trying to do here a little bit, because we would need to handle the different potential error codes and then handle that in the program.cs. So I think I'm with you. So while I'm putting that back, would you mind creating an issue to that effect so that we don't forget about it, please? And we can look into how to do that differently. So let's go back to here to change that one again. Let's change that to be... I could probably just undo a lot of this one. Throw in the exception. Throw in the exception. And that's no longer that. Beautiful. Build. What did I forget? I forgot discard here. Build succeeded. Okay, so let's run discard of a one that doesn't exist. Unable to find a release with that. Beautiful. Let's then happy path will then mean that it will delete 012. So let's delete 012. It's deleted. It's deleted. And then the happy path is 011 shouldn't get deleted. Drum roll, please. Release not in draft mode, so not discarding. We'll try creating it in a way to have such cases be consistent. Yes, absolutely. So it's not specific to this one. It would be for all of them, absolutely. Cool. Okay, so that works. That was a little bit simpler than I thought it was going to be, if I'm honest. I thought that was going to be harder. Is there anything else I need to do here? So we're testing for the release not being able to find. We're testing to make sure that it's currently a draft. And if it both found it and it's not a draft, then it deletes it. Is there anything else I need to do there? Or is that it? I think that's it, right? I think that's it. Oh no, come on. Let's stick to the topic at hand, shall we? That would be across everything. You maybe didn't see the first part. There's more. There's a lot of work to be done in that particular area. So let's not talk about that, shall we? That would be a job for a different day. If you wanted to put in a PR, then feel free. But we're happily doing things like this in this library currently. But yeah, I think that's it. So I'm gonna put this in. Let's have a wee check. So we added a new method for discard release. Both. Currently targeting. What did I say we're targeting? For the main project, which is this one, we are currently targeting Netcore App 2 and Net 461. Oh, Kim's already got an issue open. What's in this one? Make GitReleaseManager to correctly handle async. I'm going to put a bit thumbs up on this one. It's one of these libraries that has grown organically, let's say, and it works. It needs some love and attention, but we're currently in the process of adding new functionality as opposed to complete rewrites of the whole thing. So for now, I'm going to say we added the discard method, which was in here. We added that to the interface. Oh, I need a space there. We added it into the command line parser. How did I end up getting an extra semicolon there? Don't need that. Then we added the entry point, which was the discard async. We added the sub options, and we added this into the fake client because, yeah. CLI equals, oh yeah, you're Kim's answering the full question there. So I'm going to say gh-139 add discard command. Added basic implementation of discard command, which checks to make sure requested release is found. make sure release is found and is a draft release, and if so, deletes it. Okay. I'm going to put that in. And then git push origin. That fails because I want to do this. Oh, I should have put a. I should fix that. I should go and fix that now. I'm gonna do git rebase on develop. Oh, git rebase interactive. Sorry. Git rebase interactive on develop. And let's reword it. And I'm going to put this on the bottom here because git push -f to origin. And then if we come over here and we do this guy, then fixes $139, and then I'm going to put Kim on as this. I'm going to say GH139 add discard command. And I'm going to create a pull request. Okay, so that's that done. Now, let's have a look at what other issues Kim created while we were doing that. Document the public API of the core library. Let's have a look and see what. Let's have a look. He's gone a little bit nuts, really. The core library should be documented with XML comments in case a NuGet package is eventually created for the library. I believe this was talked about at some point in the past. Yep. I mean, to an extent, well, it's not really. I mean, we are. It's here, so any XML comments will flow through. So yes, absolutely. If we add the XML comments, then they will flow through into the docs. So I think that makes a lot of sense, yes. Absolutely. GitReleaseManager creates multiple draft releases on multiple runs. It does do that, because we saw that in the stream, which I'm assuming is where you thought about this. Multiple times, and multiple draft releases can be created instead of updated. We will need to enable the document file. Yes, absolutely. And add it to the new spec. Because no, that part should be handled because it's a .NET Core pack. It's not a NuGet pack. Find the open draft release. If one exists with the same name and milestone, then update the draft release. Yeah, it's a good one. I probably should have done that on this one as well. I think that's a good idea. Find a way to handle scenarios when applications. Okay, so that's what we spoke about. But we do have or we certainly used to. GitRelease. Sure, or am I confusing myself with something else? Is this the... Oh, that's the tool. I thought we were pushing code as well. I'm getting myself confused, I think. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Where were we? Find a way to standardize exit with error, but not a stack trace. Yep. Totally agree. Make GitReleaseManager. Yes. So I've got cheese barring down as. Should I just assign them? No, I didn't want to do that. No, hold on. Where's cheese barring? What find him? Did he? That's cleared me from that. I was hoping it would let me, but is it just because? Yeah, it is just cheese barring, isn't it? Do I need to spell it out? Huh. I thought it allowed external contributors now. But maybe it still doesn't. Yeah. Cheese barring. I didn't think you did, though. I thought it allowed assigning people who weren't in it anymore. What weren't in it. Huh. I mean, we can add you in, obviously. Let's go here. Let's just have a look. Collaborators, teams. Ugh. Oh, that's it. Let's add James Baron. Let's maybe give you, in a minute, let's give you this. So then, can only add people that have commented and or contributed in the past. Is that the difference? Southern Cross. It was. I didn't type it, you'll notice. Yeah, I tend to use long passwords in my password manager. So, and now I'll need to wait for him to be added. Okay, hold on. I'm bad at my passwords. I was for a long time, and then I adopted a password manager. And now I can safely say that I genuinely don't know any of my passwords, apart from my one password, which is to get into my password manager. And if I forget that, then I am completely screwed. But that's where we are. That's what I have. Deprecate the use of username and password when using GitHub API. So it doesn't give any information about when that's going to happen. Deprecation notice. GitHub will discontinue. That's quite small. GitHub will discontinue password authentication to the API. You must now authenticate to the GitHub API with an API token, such as the OAuth access token, GitHub app installation access token, or personal access token. Interesting. So it's a reasonably new thing. Okay. So I don't feel too bad in not having known this. Okay, but I agree that this is a good idea. What I'm thinking there is we may want to verify whether GitLab's going the same way as well. So we may need to leave the username and password in, but only deprecate it for the GitHub API. But if GitLab hasn't quite deprecated it yet, then we should leave it in play. I know that a two-factor authentication is what everyone wants, but I'm like, what if you move to another country and you can't take your phone number with you? So I spoke about this, Southern Cross. I spoke about this at the start of the stream, but I've just picked up a couple of these things. YubiKeys. So these are going to become my new way of doing things. I just need to figure out how they work properly, because I haven't quite got there yet. And TZ Fuzz? I'm not sure how to pronounce that username. I like the password managers that use password generators using whole English words or as a source and just concatenating for. Absolutely, that's one way to go. YubiKeys are definitely worth looking into. Southern Cross. My understanding is I don't know much about them yet, but I know I like the idea, and that's why I bought two. It's easy to work with YubiKeys. I also have some solo. Oh, I haven't heard of them now. Tomas, I haven't seen those ones. Solo key. Let's have a quick Google, and then I need to go sleep. Solo keys. The first open source. Oh, interesting. The first open source 502 secure key. Protect your online accounts against unauthorized access. Interesting. Open source, strong security. Okay. Oh, they're quite a bit cheaper as well. Quite a bit cheaper than the YubiKeys. Look at that. Do they do NFC as well? No, maybe not. Because that was the benefit of this one, because it's NFC compatible, so I can use it on the old iPhone as well. I assume they implement U2F. That's the most important variant, I believe. The Solo Tap has this one. Oh, it is. Sorry, I never. Let's go back. It's in the picture, isn't it? It's right there. Sorry, I searched for NFC, but it's in the picture. It's in the picture, so it must be part of the image. There's a comment here, and this was Tomas saying, "Beautiful." So I'm going to say, there we go. Okay, so that is all I have for tonight. I have done the PR that I wanted to tonight, which is good. Oh, Kim's saying it's good to me. Well, let's just do it, shall we? Let's just merge it while I'm here. And blah, blah, blah. And let's go here. Make sure that's assigned to the milestone. And we'll close it out. Beautiful. Okay, so we did the discard. So the thing that's coming up next then will be or from my point of view anyway, will be the integration tests. Oh. I just assumed that it had. So let's see. Had it not finished? It's probably saying it's right there, isn't it? It's telling me that it hadn't done it. Oh, maybe just snuck in. Oh, I see. Yeah, because it was a big green text box. So, yeah, sorry. Okay, so the next thing for me then, probably on Friday's stream, if not before, will be to add in the integration tests. So now that we have the ability to discard a GitHub release, we can start adding integration tests for GitReleaseManager as part of the CI/CD build pipeline. So we will build GitReleaseManager, we'll then take the generated outputs from that build, we'll run a suite of integration tests, and the integration tests will be to create a release on this fake repository. That's not that one. Create a release on this fake repository. We'll then export that release, compare that against what we expect it to be. If everyone's happy, we can then add some assets, then we can discard the release ready for the next build pipeline to work as well. So if we do all of that, then when we can get some reassurance that what we're adding in hasn't broken anything. So we'll be able to test a lot of the surface. We won't be able to test everything. So if we go back to here and run GitReleaseManager, we should be able to test the create. We'll be testing the discard. We could test the adding of an asset. We won't necessarily test the close and the publish, because those are two actions that can't be undone, or rather, we haven't got functions or commands to undo those actions, so we won't be testing those ones. But we can do the create, the discard, the add asset, and do the export. We can't necessarily do the label, but we can test quite a bit of the surface area, and then by doing those tests as part of integration tests, then we get some reassurance that we haven't broken anything, and it's in a better place to be. So, sounds like we're for both Friday and Monday. Yes, you're probably right, Kim. First of all, I need to remember how to do the integration test as part of Kate.recipe build. I know we can do it. I've just seen something that's going to annoy me. I need to put a full stop on these two. So there's full stops on the descriptions of every single thing there, apart from the init and the show config. That's going to annoy me. But I haven't got time to do it just now. I'll just need to remember to do it. So that's me. Thanks to everyone who joined the stream today. I appreciate it. It's time for me to pack up and go to bed. It's getting quite late here. Well, it's not getting late, but late enough because I've got work in the morning. So I will, or should they be done as part of an integration library so that they can be checked with coverage results? I don't know, Kim. Maybes. I don't know. Let me mull that one over. I mean, we do have, so that's one thing I do want to do. It's on my list. Is right now we have one test project that includes integration tests. I don't know why I did that. I tend to have two separate DLLs, one for unit tests and one for integration tests. I want to split those out, so we'll take out the integration tests that are in here and move them into the other library. Once that's done, in theory, we could do it so that we have coverage results. Yeah, I don't know. Let me mull that one over, and I will see what I can come up with, pros and cons. And yeah, that's it from me. So thank you again for coming. Hopefully see you all sometime soon, or speak to you sometime soon anyway. Friday stream, normal time, lunchtime here in the UK, 12 p.m. till 1 p.m. And then following that, Monday again, next Monday, 8 p.m. to right about 10 p.m. Okay, that's it. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.